Hello everyone, glad to be here. So, what if, like, with the modernization, every devices are getting connected to the internet, and with the connection, it is bringing exposure. Nowadays, from critical sector devices to household devices, everything is connected. And in our research, we try to formulate some methodologies. How can anybody find these devices online? And through OSINT, how can somebody can find 0 days on these devices? And what are the issues that we have found on these devices? So this is all the presentation is about. So who am I? I'm Souvik Kandar, leading cybersecurity researcher consultant at Microsec, author of 45 series with coordination with CISA and INL. And my core focus have been doing global OSINT on IoT OT systems, as well as doing protocol research, exploitation, and doing bug bounty and technical blogging. So the impact I work on is on aviation, railway, maritime industry, and smart cities. So before diving into this, let us first understand the digital surveys. So, as I said before, like from deep infrastructure to critical controller to everyday edges, the devices including mining devices, Seismic devices, SATCOMs, medical X-rays, warehouse automation devices to thermostats, 3D printers, smart TVs, and way beyond. Anything that is connected can be found in the internet. So nothing is safe. And for this research, we have used popular tools like sensors, Shodan, Modern Magnify, FUFA. Even beyond these tools, anybody can do a manual one using ZMap and ZGraph2. Let us come to the first methodology, the block pivot. So here, target has to be given. Then we will find as much information as possible from the internet about this and gather the HTML login page, HTML dump, anything. Then with the help of it, then we'll create a signature that will like let us finding these devices online. Let's take an example of Starlink. So we Googled about Starlink, and when we found this blog, there in the title it is being written Starlink, which is kind of unique for the Starlink routers. So we created a signature based out of it on Modern Magnify, and we found it 175 results. And we verify each results, it gave us this screen. And when we try research about this Starlink screen, we found that Starlink routers, when anyone try to access remotely, it gives this kind of screen like Starlink, you are connected to the Starlink. So this is the first way. The second is the multimedia intelligence and recon. Here also we have been given a target. We find as much metadata as possible from the YouTubes, and we crafted a signature and verified it. Here also in one of the black hat videos, we were able to find a banner signature for VxWorks login, which is a critical OS that has been used in many critical devices. We found that we crafted the signature and we verified it with the help of Modern Magnify, and we got those devices. The last is the search pivot. Here, no target is needed. We just play around with the keywords. We take one keyword from one device, another keyword from another device, mix it up to find new kind of devices, which is not even our target. For example, here is a D-Link router page. We have identified two keywords here, hardware version, firmware version, which is common among IoT OT systems. When we took these two signatures, we tried to craft a query in modern magnify, and then we find 91,000 results. Here, with the curiosity, we added another keyword just to play around with it to see if there is any GNSS devices online that can be that has these two keywords. And there we found 17 results of SAB R60. It's a atom station used in critical aid to navigation. With just using D-Link routers keywords and one GNS query, then we were able to find these devices. Now comes to the finding, crafting the signature out of the device. When we go through the HTML content, we found a unique keyword there, external atom status. So to verify it, we again crafted search through the OSINT platform and got 17 results, and all of them give the same SAB R60. So this signature is unique to this kind of devices. Now, using these three methodologies, we try to give some examples of some type of devices that we found online. The first one is Panasonic CCTV camera. We just gathered information about the Panasonic camera from Google, YouTube, then we were able to get hold of this signature, and this gives us around 1,949 devices online of Panasonic camera. The next is marine instrument. We were going through the marine instrument blogs. There we found a critical unique keyword like marine observe. So when we search through the FUFA, we get hold of 3 results, and this is the login page. And when we try to analyze the internal pages, we were able to get hold of the live footage of the fleet. We reported to CISA, and CISA coordinated with the vendor, but the vulnerability is known to vendor, and they gave us permission to publish it. Next is EVBox. This also we have found this through Google search and found it the keyword in the HTML title that it's EVBox redirection page, and the same way we crafted the signature and found this. The next was fueling systems. So our aim was to find the fueling system devices online. We just searched the fueling systems, and it gave us so many results, and one of them happened to be Franklin fueling systems. After analyzing the HTML content, we just added one keyword like Franklin in front of the fueling systems. It gave us like 32,000 plus systems of the Franklin fueling systems online, like throughout the world. So this type of systems are also exposed. Next is like telecommunication systems, so VoIP. This signature is what we have found from Google also. We got hold of the HTML dump in one of the blogs, and there we found that server is YARLing embedded HTTP. Using this, we were able to craft the signature, and 8,000 plus devices are there online. Next is HMI systems. This one we try to play around with the keywords like device type, image version, and device name, and HMI. With this combination of the keywords, we have been able to find many HMI devices worldwide, and one of them happened to be the Siemens one. After finding the IP, we analyzed the HTML content and found that the title is unique. It has a unique title that is mini web start page. Using this, we were able to find that 3,000 plus devices online of this vendor. Next is thermostats. So we just searched as web title equal to thermostat. It gave us many results. From among this, Maxio Air was one of them. So thermostats is also like exposed. Now is Shelly EM. This one, when we Googled about this target, so we get hold of one of the blogs where we get the title. It is written Shelly EM, and it worked. And 358 devices online. Shelly EM, what a predictable. Now, like smart lighting devices are also online. So we just searched the title with web title with LED control, and it gave us the result. Like 52 IPs worldwide where anybody can turn on and off their lights remotely. So next time your lights are turning on and off, it's not a ghost, it's a hacker. Now this signature what we found from a YouTube channel, and there they have shown that with this signature 12,000 plus mobile and smart OS endpoints, ADB endpoints, protocol endpoints are exposed to the world, and anybody can take a shell using ADB shell here. So 12,000 shells online ready to be taken as a shell, and also anybody can control the TV remotely if the TV is an Android smart TV and it has an ADB port enabled. Now, after that, we try to target the aviation industry to see if any aviation industry devices are online or not. So we tried multiple combination of signature like indices, fog, inversions, status, then sensor data. And one of the results was this one like VZR system, radiometric visual system. And the first YP what we found, what happened to be belong to a popular airport, international airport of a country. And at the time of finding, there was no authentication mechanism enabled on it. So anybody can change value, and this system is being widely used for the weather monitoring at the runways. So anybody can do anything they want, change values if that can cause a disastrous effect. We immediately reported to CISA, then they coordinated with the radiometrics and it got fixed. But still right now, like there are 33 IPs worldwide about this device. Next is a SATCOM. We found this signature through one of the YouTube channels, and they explained the vulnerability and also the login page also. Their login page on there when they showed the demo. So from there we were able to get hold of the title, and through the title we tracked down the devices, like 1,237 devices, and all of them are vulnerable, not all of them, sorry, maximum of them are vulnerable with the vulnerability they explained at the YouTube. So anybody can log in, go through it, do anything they want. Now, this one is a warehouse automation system. We were trying to find smart robots if they have IP or not. We were just hoping we can find anything once in a sensor showed. So, Brightpeak we have found accidentally. There in one of the ports, what we see that we were able to control the robots because they don't have any authentication. We just happen to enable the robot from here remotely and do anything we want. We immediately reported to the vendor and got patched, and we got a CV out of it. But still we have the signature right now. So this is the signature. Next is radar systems. We're trying to find the anything like critical as radar systems are there online or not. So we were analyzing a spotter RF, and one of their documentation we were able to get hold of the title, and with the title we were get hold of the device. And there, right at the time of finding this, there was around like 30 or 40 results were there. So anybody can see whatever the radar is finding, they can do anything they want. But at the time of finding, we reported immediately with the vendor, and we found that whoever find this thing, they have only some limited access. But still they are trying to patch it, I suppose. Now is seismic stations. We were trying to find seismic stations also, a seismic station also in the ocean. So we started combination of different keywords like host name, serial number, then GNSS, then latitude, longitude, and one of the results happened to be Gulf seismic stations. So after finding the devices, we just analyzed the HTML the same way and found the unique signature only for these devices, and 300 plus devices there online. Now, ice detector system. This type of system has been being used in aviation and maritime industry. We were not even trying to find this device. We were just hoping to find anything with the keywords like site information, then alarm test, and other keywords here. But we got the result of Labcotec ice detectors. So ice detector device are also online and anybody can find through hosting with the combination. Now this device Hassler Rail is being used actively in railway infrastructure. So during one of the vlogs, we found somebody was brave enough to give the login page online, and after getting the login page, we crafted the keyword, analyzed all the results. From there, we were able to get hold of this device, and after that, we crafted the unique signature for this vendor. And there are 36 devices online. Now, this is Nordex Systems. It's a wind farm portal. So we were hoping to find this device because it is a very popular vendor. So going through the Google, found same way, found the HTML page, crafted the signature, found it. So these kind of devices are also here. This is Orthanc. It is an open source application used actively in medical industry. So at the time of finding it, we were trying to find any device related to medical industry, and we found this. This device is actively used for X-rays. So anybody can get hold of this device and get hold of this application, can see other people's X-ray, patient's name, and they can delete it, they can do anything they want. But right now it is fixed because we coordinated with them, but at the time it was not fixed. Now, we were trying to analyze the AI infrastructure. So one of the popular vendor is Ulema. Ulema is being used actively by people to deploy local AIs. So when we tried to analyze it, one signature came up. Ulema is running, as simple as that. So when we searched through the internet, we found around 55 lakh plus IPs worldwide. And when we analyzed the endpoints, we saw that anybody can use any of the deployed AIs with the Ulema APIs and can execute any query they want. For example, if they go to API tags, they will see the model it is running, and then they can they can execute another API and they will get the results. So 55 lakh plus AI infrastructure that is without authentication. So it's still exposed. And we tried to fix it with coordination with the CISA, but the vendor didn't respond it, and CISA gave us go ahead with the publication. So enough of finding the device. Let's go beyond, like how can somebody find firmware and models. The first one is web layer. In the web layer, every device is different. Like whatever working for D-Link will not work for TP-Link. Whatever working for Honeywell will not work from like Hikvision. So everything has to be done like differently. For example, this is a D-Link router. If we go to this particular endpoint, we will get the firmware and model. Like firmware is 3.0.4, model is DIR 841. The next comes the vendor layer. some of the devices have proprietary protocols, like Hikvision has SADP protocol. If somebody does a SADP query in the network, Hikvision will always give back the result with the firmware, model, serial number, and everything without the authentication. The last is network and industrial layer. Many of the devices has protocols like PJ, many of the devices have protocol like PJL. I'm forgetting the device name. Like printers. Sorry, printers have the protocol PJL. Anybody can try to connect to it, and if they give the specific commands, they will get the model numbers, names. So in passive way also, anybody can find the firmware and model, like in Axis camera, scanning the IP, it gives the model number, firmware number, and for Modbus also, it gives the model number and firmware number using Shodan. Now come to the state of exposure. We have found some kind of vulnerabilities like in these exposed devices. Most of them are really common. The first one is no authentication mechanism. Even the devices have authentication, people have not enabled it, and the number is very big. So to find the devices without authentication, we crafted, anybody can use OSINT, like web HTML live data view and web HTML login. Like we are subtracting the keyword login and password from the result that is coming for live data view. And when we did that, we get hold of this device, another critical OT device, like Morningstar EMC, One Solar Gateway. It didn't have any authentication mechanism, and we were able to get hold of the signature, which only gives on non-authenticated devices of cluster like Morningstar EMC device. So when we reported to the vendor, they said that this is a end user misconfiguration. The second is like the devices that doesn't even have authentication, even the user ones, they can't enable it, and the number is quite high. Like here is one example, like AMP RF Bluetooth access point. We were just trying to find devices using the keywords from a revision, IP address, MAC address. So when we found this device, we tried to see if there is any authentication mechanism, anybody can enable it or not. No authentication mechanism. So when we reported to CISA, so they published the issue and they gave a CV to it. Now the root shell. So in OSINT also, using OSINT, anybody can find root shells. So whenever somebody connected to any command like any shell, there is certain keywords like enter help for a list of built-in commands or something like that. We just taken that and searched it as a banner. We found many results through that. One of them was for BusyBox, and we combined it together. We found like around 467 BusyBox root shells around the world in different countries. Some may be honeypots, but some are really shells, like somebody built it and let it be. The next, we try to find Lua shell, and when we tried to find Lua shell, we happened to go into Schneider Electric devices, and we crafted the signature, found around 19 devices, and anybody can connect to it and do any Lua shell activity. So when we coordinated with the vendor through CISA, vendor said that the device is too old and it's an end of life devices. But still people are using it. Now another issue that we have found so far is like white labeling. There are documented white labeling, there are undocumented white labeling. The undocumented white labeling is the most dangerous one, because through OSINT we have found like if one device is compromised, there may be like 5,000-6,000 more devices that are compromised throughout the world across different vendors. There is no advisory for this white label devices because nobody knows. Because there is no documented connection to the original firmware. So to give the proof test cases here, we recently found a vulnerability on D-Link CCTV and Securas. Both are white label firmwares. They have the same vulnerability. So we crafted the signature from the HTML content of these two devices, and we searched through FUFA, and we got around 4,000 plus devices all over the world. So when we went through some of the results, they have the same layout, same HTML content, same JS file content, everything. But there is no mention of like connecting to the vendor doesn't mention that they are white label on the original firmware. So basically means if one camera or one device is affected, all the white labels will also be affected. Now let's come to the case studies. The first one is inspect element. This is a smart thermostat that we found like doing some penetration testing on a popular university. When we found that, we went through its HTML content. After going through the HTML content, we found something interesting. Like if we delete the display none option here, it will immediately give us the option to write new username and password. And when we fill up the form and click save credentials, it doesn't require any ask us any authentication for it. So basically we've done the authentication bypass without even like doing any complex thing. As you can see, this is the HTML content, and in the below it is written please set the username and password, and the only way they were protecting it through the HTML CSS like block CSS blocking. So nothing, any critical block is there. So after authentication, anybody can change the temperature, anybody can do anything they want. This is the current state of the thermostat. Next is a debugger backdoor. So when we were trying to see if that we can find a critical vulnerability in the overfueling solution, we got the HTTP port and other ports, but the HTTP port was too much secured. We were not trying to do heavy testing on it, so we looked another way. We found another port there, like port 1534, and connecting to it, it was leaking some interesting information, like zero copy diagnostic profiler. But no matter what we try, we are not able to send any command and get any result for it. So when we searched through the internet about it, we found that this protocol is a TCF protocol, Target Communication Framework, which doesn't require any authentication for exploitation by design. And if somebody is able to communicate this protocol, they can do anything they want, like remote code execution, changing the SH file of the firmware, anything. So for that, we try to do the exploitation by installing the only IDE that communicates with the TCP protocol, that is Eclipse. So we configured it, when after configuration, when we try to connect to it, it got connected. After that, we can see the internal files. We can create new files. We can change the live SH file by editing. Anything we want. And this is a overfueling solution which is being used worldwide for fueling systems. And this is the state. Even without HTTP, another protocol can be exploitable. And after that, we didn't end there. So we tried to find how many TCP protocol devices are there in the world. So interestingly, in sensors, when we search for only port 1534 with the host service protocol unknown, it gave only the TCP protocol devices. And there are 400 plus devices worldwide, and this is the countries that in where the TCP protocol devices are exposed. So pretty much everywhere. Now is the LG CCTV camera. In the LG CCTV camera, after we got the target, so we tried to do simple exploitation to see how much further we can go. There on the upload password places, we saw that it doesn't require any authentication to upload any new firmware. So we tried to upload any invalid firmware, it got uploaded. And after that we tried to upload a shell and it also got uploaded without any like authentication or anything. So not after we upload the reverse shell, we try to see if we can recall the shell to do remote code execution. We just simply use brute forcing, Bubsy to do brute forcing the endpoint, and we got hold of the endpoint where we were able to do the remote code execution. So as simple as that, like in the CCTV camera, anybody can do remote code execution. So we didn't end there. We contacted like LG, and they said that this is an end of life devices and no patch will be issued. Now we try to find how many exploitable such devices are there of LG camera, and we found around 500 unpatchable cameras still live in the world. Now we try to find the impact far more beyond LG. We try to see if there is any white labeling of LG exists or not. So from the LG HTML content, we crafted these keywords like new login HTML and session HTML, and we subtracted the keyword LG smart IP device. So basically means all the devices it will omit the IPs which have the keyword LG smart IP device. And we found 3 results, and all of them are SPECCO IP cameras, which are white label and they are undocumented, and they are also exploitable by this remote code execution. Here is the layout, same. Here is their curl command, everything is same. So in our report we have also mentioned the SPECCO CCTV cameras to them. Now we were trying to find seismic monitoring system in the world. So after finding the devices, we try to find if we can find any vulnerability without even doing heavy testing. So the same way we analyze the HTML content, and the HTML page was heavily carded. So we used another way, like using OSINT, we analyze how many IPs are there for Gulf seismic monitoring devices, what are the common ports and what are the common protocol. There we have found one port which was common among them all. And when we try to see the banner out of it, it was saying welcome to FMUS, which is the vendor model name, and there after this it was written type help for a list of available commands. So we didn't do an exploitation, we got the reverse shell, we connected to it, and we can do any amount of, we can execute any amount of command we want. We didn't do any critical exploitation, we just found this, we just OSINT, purely with OSINT. Now for automation direct, we were trying to see how much predictable are the keywords that is being used in OT industry. So we crafted a signature with the keyword like module description and module name, same repeatable keywords that are being used throughout all the OT sectors, and we found the device, and we just added for specify only automation direct, we specified the last keyword like automation direct, and we get hold of like 73 results. We got a CVE out of it after reporting to the vendor. They were very helpful and they fixed it. This was all that anybody can do with this. So the key conclusion is like OSINT is no longer like counting devices. Anybody can find any critical type of device. Anybody can do anything they want with the OSINT. Like they can find like from seismic monitoring systems to the radar systems to the medical systems to any type of devices. Even the people can find zero-day vulnerabilities out of it. Like we got the shell of the seismic monitoring system purely through OSINT. We just don't have to do the, right now the user doesn't have to do any complex hacking to do this. They just have to like know what to search. And the sky is the limitation, like whatever keyword we can give, we can get the device. And another thing that we want to say, like the secure by design is failing for the devices, because nowadays like we can find any password from the CS files from the IoT OT devices. We can exploit through some of the undocumented ports like TCF and so on. And white labeling is one of the biggest issue that we have identified throughout this. And also like OT is, with the connectivity, OT is definitely going to be sitting in the public internet like that. And with the predictability of the keywords, anybody, even a child can find this kind of devices without even doing any complex attack. So that's all from my side.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Any questions from the audience? No? So will you ask a question?
Sure. Thank you for very great presentation. You talked very nice. I have one question. How do you recognize the devices is honeypot or not?
Actually, for that we like users like a Shodan and modern magnify. Like if there is a honeypot, they gave the tag, but beside that, we don't have anything to use.
So just depends on the Shodan's suggestion.
And also we don't depend on one IP results, because we find like 10, 12, 30 IPs, we check it manually one by one to see if the data is consistent or not, so that we don't have to depend on any device or any one single result.
Okay, I see. So the manual work
Yep.
suggests that the manual work can identify whether the honeypot. Okay. Good. Any other questions? I will translate his question.
いろいろとこう多分先ほどもそれこそ手作業でこう手動で確認していくみたいなお話があったと思うんですけど、今それこそ他のセッションの中でも LLM の活用とかっていうのが増えてきているという話で、そのあたりがこう普及していくにつれて、このあたりの攻撃っていうのももっと激化していくんじゃないかなとお話聞いてて思ったので、なんかそのあたりのお話ちょっとお伺いしたいです。
Okay, his question is there any possibility to accelerate the attack towards the IoT device by using LLM?
Yeah, there is a possibility to that.
Okay, and his concern is that you did a lot of manual work with this, and is there any possibility to automate with LLM?
And we are working through it, like trying to automate the whole thing.
Okay, great. Will you present in Sunday or so?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good, great. Any other questions?
Hi. So, for example, there's stuff like OSCP that teaches you pen testing skills. Similarly, I'm really curious. Can you recommend some sources to study more OSINT skills like these?
Actually, what you saw that it's like we like doing the manual thing myself. Like I came up with this like playing around with the keyword, at one time finding critical device, moving on, taking the keyword. So I have no source for that. Like I
Just
generate
play
it
with
myself.
it. So just play with it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Oh, one more question.
Thank you for your presentation. So you showed us a lot of web pages today, and my question is that are those pages hosted by vendors or devices has global IP and host their own pages?
Come again?
So my question is, IoT devices, do IoT devices has global IP address, or vendors host their web pages?
They all had the global IPs. Like if they are exposed and connecting to the internet, they have the global IP.
So those web pages are hosted on the device?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? I guess we have time, or we have some more time. We have 4 minutes. Okay, one question for me, and it's just curious. So if you cannot answer my question, it's okay. You find many vulnerabilities on the devices or on the products. How do you confirm that your exploitation is work on the device or not? Because you investigated lot kind of devices, and I think it's difficult to buy all of them. So how do you confirm that your exploitation is working?
So some of them are confirmed by OSINT, which doesn't require any hard changes, like seismic devices, where we get the shell just without even doing anything, and we get many IPs. And some we have home lab, where we just try to verify the vulnerabilities, try to exploit it, like remote code execution of LG. So that way, but most of them are verified by OSINT only. One device have this, second device have this, 10, 20 device have this, then it's definitely a vulnerability.
Okay, I see.
And also we report to CISA and to the vendor, so vendor also verifies.
Okay. The background of my question is, in Japan, it's actually prohibited by law to log into the device, even if it's even if its authentication mechanism is very weak. So I have curious, is it allowed or not?
So this is a good faith research. So I think CISA allows it.
Okay.
Good faith research. We were not doing anything malicious here, and we are not trying to sell anything, do anything. So it's a good faith research, and after finding this, we generally report it very fast, to them.
Okay. I see. Any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. And my question is, I think the less popularity that each website has, the more vulnerability it has, and of course the open source. I don't know how to say. Open source is not a big problem, and it's not a problem, but the problem is each vendor or each developers writes code independently, not really thinking about the from security perspective. So what kind of insight do you have against such vendors or each developers who will develop those I don't know how to say those websites that significantly affect the society?
So they have to do the testing themselves, and definitely they have to keep in mind about the cybersecurity part, because everything is getting connected, and since connected, anybody can hack it and do anything they want. And also for white labeling, it's like the biggest issue about white labeling is that a firmware like LG has confirmed to us that their device is an EOL, the firmware is an EOL. They are not patching it, and from another country, another vendor is taking the device like firmware and white labeling it and selling it, and the vulnerability remains. There is no documentation that is connecting both of them.
I see. So you think those undocumented knowledge might be the problem? Okay.
So many a times, but we found through the research, like when we were sent to test the devices before procurement, we found that the vendor is telling that this is a new device, new firmware that we have built, but when we tested it, we found that the original vendor just made the firmware EOL and 15 years ago.
I see. I also think their development shouldn't be finished after, I don't know, after just coding. I should maintain the whole website afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's now time. So please give big clap to the speakers. Thank you very much.